On this week's GTA 6 o'clock, marketing timeline exposed,
There needs to be a flurry of activity pretty soon.
latest earnings report analysed,
So we are all running scared and looking over our shoulders.
and new actors uncovered.
So this actually might relate to more of a major character.
It's all here on this week's GTA 6 o'clock.
Wow, what a week. Hello and welcome to episode 60 of GTA 6 o'clock, the world's most in-depth and best connected GTA 6 show. I am your host, JJ, and you may remember a few weeks ago that I got a little bit excited that some news may have been on the horizon, but nothing came of it. Well, fans, buckle up, because this week we do have some news, so everybody get on board the hype train. Sitting next to me in carriage D, seat 2D, is Dan DD Dawkins.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
Good
I've run
day
out
to you.
of...
I couldn't introduce myself using some kind of triple D. Anyway, I won't do that.
No.
Good day to you.
Yes.
Good day.
So, yeah, I've run out of train puns and double D things, but lots to get through this week, Dan. Let's kick off with something that you promised everybody last week that we would do. And that is an analysis of the Take-Two investor call that happened last week. It was the thing that we were looking forward to in the midst of nothing else to look forward to. We said it might be business as usual, but actually, as we've just said before I hit record, it's better than business as usual, even though it is still business as usual.
Yeah, the fact is business as usual for us is great news because it means the thing they've been saying for quite a while, going back to their last earnings call last year, where they said fall 2025 is our projection for GTA 6. And James, did they say that again?
Yes, multiple times,
Yes.
which is, as you say, great news. There was quite a few different bits of material that's put out in these calls. There's the call itself where they just talk through these results, and then there's a few presentations in the form of slideshows. GTA 6 comes up in a number of them. First up, we have the earnings presentation, which I think you can see on screen now. GTA 6 is mentioned twice in here. It says, we forecast that calendar year 2025 will be an inflection point for Take-Two, from the groundbreaking release of Grand Theft Auto 6 in the fall to the unmatched pipeline that 2K is set to deliver, including Civilization 7 in February, Mafia: The Old Country in summer, and Borderlands 4. It also has a slide that lists out their immersive core titles, of which Grand Theft Auto 6 is one, and is listed as launching fall of calendar 2025. Now, for all of those of you who like to get a little bit nervous, there are some caveats at the bottom of this slide that say these titles are a snapshot of the current development pipeline. It is likely that some of these titles will not see delivery through completion. Launch timing may change, and we'll be adding new titles to our slate. That pretty much just covers them to say these aren't facts, but this is what we are anticipating. And I think the thing that it's relating to in terms of like projects not being seen through to completion are some of the ones that are like way off and are called like, Project X, Project Y. I don't anticipate that relating to GTA
And
6.
you have to cover yourself because even if everything is on track, there's like act of God style things that could happen that could blow you off course. So, and the point of those is you can't predict them. So you have to caveat for them.
There's a couple more decks that we can show you. There's the investor presentation, in which Rockstar got its own little section, as all of the key studios did. GTA 6 again mentioned twice. GTA 6 is planned to release in the fall of calendar 2025. Then there's another slide that we've already seen. The earnings release contains a note from Strauss Zelnick, who's the chairman and CEO of Take-Two Interactive. He says, looking ahead, this calendar year is shaping up to be one of the strongest ever for Take-Two, as we plan to launch Sid Meier's Civilization 7 on February 11th. That's already happened. Mafia: The Old Country in the summer, and Grand Theft Auto 6 in the fall, and Borderlands 4. If you were reading into that, you would, if I was doing a podcast about Borderlands 4, this would make me think, maybe they're a little bit, that might slip out of the planned timelines
Yes,
for 2025.
the fact that it exists but undated when everything else has a commitment would make me slightly nervous.
Take-Two's future lineup announced to date includes Rockstar Games, Grand Theft Auto 6 coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S in the fall of calendar 2025. All of these things, as you say, good news for us. Not unexpected, but the fact that it's being mentioned multiple times in these documents is good. I think shows confidence that they're anticipating the fall 2025 date to be achievable. And they've only got really one more call before things start to be problematic if it's not going to be fall. Like, there's a call in 3 months' time, right? So what would that be? May? Where I guess that could be the last possible time where a delay comes before that call. But as we'll get onto a bit later in the show, I don't think that's going to happen.
Can I just pick on something that I'd forgotten, but hearing that said out loud was fascinating? Xbox Series X, get it, and S, which, suggests the lowest bar of GTA 6 will run on an S, which is clearly not as powerful as a PS5 or an Xbox Series S. My question to you is, do you think there's any world where that opens the door to a Switch 2 release?
Realistically, I mean, they definitely want to look at it. But no, I don't think it does.
Yeah, sure.
From the specs that we've seen of the Switch 2, which is on a par, if not slightly more powerful than a PS4.
Yeah, none of that's confirmed, right? Is it, to my knowledge?
No, not like 100%.
Yeah, so they've leaked the form factor of the console, and we've got an upcoming games presentation. I just wonder, my open question is, and I think this is probably a subject for another day when we're better informed, could it come to a Switch console, as in Switch 2? My feeling is, if the rumors are correct and Switch 2 is about as powerful as it's like a PS4 Pro Plus, somewhere between Xbox Series S and PS4 Pro Plus. In theory, could it run it? And would it? And is that a thing Nintendo would have? I don't know. Maybe we side park that for another day. But it just got me thinking that, actually the S is, sort of demonstrably not as powerful as the other machines there. It feels like it opens the door. But maybe when we're better informed, we could peer through that door again.
Yeah, I mean, is that the dream, playing it on the move? I guess for some people, maybe. But I feel like these experiences, Red Dead, GTA, are like big screen,
yes,
home, sitting at home, with the full sound and bigger picture. Like, that's how I'd want to play these games. Whether they'll, do it or not, that's up to them. But no, I would say no. I don't anticipate it coming to Switch 2 I think because the S has got so much of, putting my Microsoft hat on, so much of Microsoft's cloud power behind it to help with the processing. The Switch isn't going to have that. So I think, your lowest entry point is a Xbox Series S.
So your gut is no. I agree with you, but let's wait and see. I think let's wait and see what the specs reveal.
Okay, and then there was one more document here that was the prepared remarks, which they put out before the call, which is just a summary of the call, basically. A couple of things in here. Again, very much the same language. It says, looking ahead, this calendar year is shaping up to be one of the strongest ever for Take-Two. As Sid Meier's Civilization 7 launched in early access today, with the official launch on February 11th, and we plan to release Mafia: The Old Country in the summer, Grand Theft Auto 6 in the fall, and Borderlands 4 before year end. So that is before March 2026.
Yeah, fiscal year end.
Yeah. In closing, we are forecasting calendar year 2025, which goes to December, to be an inflection point for Take-Two. From the groundbreaking release of Grand Theft Auto 6 to the unmatched pipeline that Take-Two is set to deliver as we introduce hit products to our passionate communities of fans, we are confident that we will usher in a new period of growth and returns for our shareholders. Looking ahead, we are highly optimistic about our planned pipeline for fiscal 2026, which includes Grand Theft Auto 6 launching this fall. All of which says Fall 2025 is hopefully the GTA 6 timeline. We've got some timelines we can look at a bit later on, which hopefully marry some of these things up. Strauss Zelnick also did an interview with IGN just before this call when they asked him about the release date. He is quoted as saying, "Look, there's always a risk of slippage, and I think as soon as you say the words like absolutely, you jinx things." That was his response to how confident he was that Rockstar will hit a fall 2025 release date. And then he said, "So we feel really good about it." When asked for an update on how development of GTA 6 is going, Zelnick kept his cards close to his chest and said, "Look, I think the game is eagerly anticipated both internally and externally. We know that Rockstar seeks perfection. I'll never claim success before it occurs. I'm fond of saying arrogance is the enemy of continued success. So we are all running scared and looking over our shoulders, and we know that the competition is not asleep. Our whole organization is super excited," which is actually wording that they've almost word for word said before, and definitely said when they, I think, had in a chat with CNBC, which was very much the same messaging as like Rockstar Games has always desired for creative perfection, which is why it takes a long time, why it is complex and nervous making. So they're obviously slightly hedging their bets, but hedging it in the way of going, we're pretty confident about fall. However, there's always a chance. But I don't know, bringing all that together, Dan, does it make you feel more confident than maybe a few weeks ago that fall is looking likely?
Yeah, it does. It does, because it's so boring and repetitive and metronomic in what they've been saying since last year, the language fall 2025. The fact he obviously doesn't use the word absolutely or, but high confidence. They're big statements for these sort of things because you can never categorically say something is happening. So, yeah, I feel, in as much as you can, confident. It really does feel like it's fall. At this point in time, caveats, the past does not predict the future. I'm feeling pretty good about it. So it's good. The joke I was going to make is Rockstar sound confident, or are they setting themselves up for the fall?
Good. I'm just
You can use that at the front of the episode if you want to get more listeners. It's up to you.
Okay. That's for producer Nathan to decide. Or Nathan, you could just cut that out and we wouldn't lose anything probably. For the record, I also feel really good about it.
Yes.
I've, recently been swaying between, it might be delayed to, it's not going to be delayed, it's going to be fine. This, and that's all due to the lack of news and announcements. But this has helped. I feel now more confident and more excited that fall 2025 is going to happen, which we can probably look at now, and some of this is why. And that lovely segue brings us onto the marketing timelines of previous Rockstar titles, how it relates to GTA 6. Last week, I think we mentioned, wouldn't it be good if we could put together some kind of timeline and have a look at it? So we have done that.
Yeah.
And we can hopefully show it to you now on screen. This might take a little bit of changing. We might put this out on Twitter, which is at GTA VOclock, in a different form that a bit fancier. But for now, for us just talking about it, I think this works. So what we have done is put the GTA 5 marketing timeline in a big long line, put the Red Dead 2 beats in a line, compared them, and then I guess we can say, how is this going to relate to GTA 6? So, kicking this off, the campaign from announcement of the game exists, which normally comes coupled with trailer 1, within a few days or a few weeks, to release of the game. In the past, taking Red Dead and GTA 5 as examples, that campaign has lasted about 2 years. The good news is, if you look at GTA 6 that was released in November/December 2023, that was the first sort of official announcement / first trailer. 2 years after that is fall 2025.
It's like they're setting themselves up for the fall, James.
Good. You're gonna keep doing that, aren't you? Until
No,
we
just
manage
that
to
once.
use it.
Like, I've got to make the judgment call on these things, so I'm just using it once.
They
Or
have
am
s-
I once?
Yes, they have set everything up for the fall. I've said it. Nathan used that quote at the beginning instead of.
Oh, so
Dan's
you
one.
get to claim the credit for it.
Yeah.
That is a disgrace. A disgrace, I tells you.
So yeah, we can look at a few other things in this timeline. Once the game has a fixed release date, which is, in the case of GTA and Red Dead, came with a delay announcement, admittedly.
Yes.
But once it's got that date, there was about an 8-month campaign from the game is going to hit day and date, 28th
So that's once
of
they
September.
committed to a hard date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes about 8 months for that campaign to spin up. Now, if GTA 6 was to do that, and this is, assuming that Trailer 2 is going to come with a date, which now I feel reasonably confident about, the 8-month campaign, if you release that trailer in February, which is this month, that campaign takes us to October. If you release that in March, it takes us to November. Red Dead 2 released in October, which felt a little bit late in the year release timeline, but would have been a good test for them to say, hey, if we release something late October, does it affect anything numbers, sales-wise, anything like that? I don't think it did. So there's some precedent there to go, we tried it before and it was fine. And then if we look at trailer 2 for GTA 5, that was 10 months before the release of the game. Trailer 2 for Red Dead was 13 months before the release of the game. But there was an additional delay announcement for Red Dead in there, which you could say adds on about 3 months.
Yes.
Now, obviously, 10 months from where we are now is too many months. That takes us into December. But I think you can look at this and see there's quite a big gap of inactivity between the previous campaigns. Once the date has been fixed to launch of the game, Red Dead had like 3 months before a trailer. No, GTA 5 had 3 months before a trailer was released, and then another 3 months until like all of the marketing kicked off. Red Dead 2 just had a 6-month gap before all of their main marketing kicked off. So if GTA 6 was to truncate that gap by even a month, you're hitting a September kickoff for everything and a November launch, which I think makes sense.
So but what it does show, what it really clearly shows you is like James said, from the point they've committed to the date, like it's going to be date X, apart from a potential delay, which has happened with Red Dead, then the asset frequency really picks up. And so for us, that's good news, because you look at the timeline currently for GTA 6, it looks like there's been an error.
It's pretty sparse.
Yeah, there's one thing, and that is true. There's been one thing, which is remarkable. But what we do know is, whilst there's been one thing now, to all the best of our knowledge, and as we said at the start of the podcast, fall 2025 is the end point. And so for this to look, for the bottom graph to look anything like the ones above, there needs to be a flurry of activity pretty soon. Things have really got to pick up. And if you look, say, like when they were really in like crunch campaign mode in the lead up to GTA 5, there was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 big drops, media drops from like July, which is a gameplay trailer, then new Los Santos screens, a GTA Online trailer, GTA 5 official trailer, reviews. 5 big drops in 3 months before the September release. And then similarly for Red Dead, you went from, I suppose, like from August to October, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 big beats again. So like, I think that's to come. And we don't, we can talk about what those are and stuff, but probably the step we're missing, and like James said, is the date confirmation trailer 2 and then the accelerated sprint. So they feel like the 2 big beats that need to happen to unlock the final sprint of a 3-month campaign that's, all the time. That's very normal. That's very classic PR, isn't it? Like, just in the run-up to release, you go really hot and loud. You're absolutely everywhere. You flood the zone with content. Great. That's exactly right. So I think everything feels like it's lining up to me.
Yeah, I'm sitting here nodding along. because all of these things make sense. Like, I think we're at the stage in GTA 6's campaign where the next beat is a fixed release date. I feel like that's where we are in the cycle. We can probably put a little indicator on this thing to go, we are here, which means, as I said previously, Trailer 2 could come with a fixed release date at the end of it and a pre-order now announcement, which would be, two things at once, which is good for us. Lots of things to talk about. It would mean, I think, that trailer has to drop sort of within the next 4 weeks of recording this podcast.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the dates start to get probably too tight. And if we don't get anything, I guess you could potentially say April, but March, for some reason, feels like a better date to me.
And look, I mean, without, again, saying too much, we've talked on previous shows about people contacting us with information. Some of those compass points were suggesting that kind of period, Easter. So let's see what proves to be true.
Yeah, if the whispers on the wind align with our dates that we've put here, March feels good to me. But, let's not do it on March the 20th, because there is another show that we are producing on that day, which is a Thursday.
If you could not do anything during the week of the Games Developers Conference, Rockstar, that would be just fine and dandy. It would actually be an act of cruelty, because in many, not for me, this is a this is a selfless act. There's many indie developers who are desperate to have their time in the spotlight and to be heard, and the last thing you'd want to do to them is to drown them out with GTA 6. So I implore thee, Rockstar, and obviously it has a slight personal benefit to it, but please ignore that week of the 17th to the 21st. After that, and a few days sleep, all systems go, everybody.
Or before that, if you must, that's fine.
It's good.
It's okay.
And I'm just thinking of indie developers there, so thank you.
And now then, Dan, we've got some new actors, or potential actors, I should say, that have been discovered. This comes via Gamer Rant and an article that they've written where it says 4 more potential GTA 6 actors have been discovered. These are Brandon James Somerville, Stella Ambriadus. You said that earlier.
We discussed this off air because she is of Greek heritage. And my wife is Greek, so I should know how to pronounce this. Do I? Not really. So I would say it's something like Stella Ambriadis.
Okay.
Would be probably how it would be done. I will ask my wife, and next week I will come back with the truth and/or listen properly to how she pronounces it. But yeah, it's interesting. There's the Greek link.
Fine. I will refer to you when we are talking about Stella. Stevie Dust and Sydney Bell. And we can go through each one of these and have a little look at what they may or may not be doing. Brandon James Somerville has an online resume that says that he's played a supporting role in GTA 6. That resume is on the internet. You can go and find it. He's an actor from Los Angeles, California.
Yep.
So, it's listed on his CV. There's not really much more to say about it. He's not been in anything mainstream, like anything that you'd probably recognize unless you're like a big fan. But I mean, it's listed. It's happening probably. In what capacity remains to be seen. But I think what we can start to do, hopefully, when we get a bit more footage, and maybe in trailer 2, is try and possibly identify some of these actors who are on the fringes, who aren't the lead roles, in the background or whatever, and go, actually, that might match up to that person's performance. Yeah. We have also got Stevie Dust, who has credited herself with unspecified NPC work. Now, Stevie's also mentioned Angelo Borealo rather than Rockstar Games on their CV, and Angelo is the lead photogrammetry artist at Rockstar. Been at Rockstar for 16 years, worked across numerous projects, all the way, through the GTAs, through the Red Deads. Now, I would say that this probably suggests some kind of facial capture or 3D modeling work rather than voice work, which is interesting in itself to have that listed on there. But I'm sure there are, loads of people doing that kind of work. But I would think that this right now suggests that it's background, it's all of the stuff that they need to capture, like people doing forward rolls and leaping out of cars or doing whatever. Like, it's all that kind of work that this might be related to rather than a lead role. The interesting one, actually, Dan, is Stella, who also lists motion capture at Rockstar Games in her CV, but under like a principal role. Now, in general, a principal actor is someone who has a speaking role or is at least on camera, like as a character, rather than a just someone as a supporting actor, like in the background, sitting in the coffee shop that you never see. So this actually might relate to more of a major character. It doesn't specifically mention GTA 6. It just says an unannounced project principal role. But she's actually been in some other things that you might have heard of in a supporting role. Dumb Money as a supporting role, which was that Netflix film about the stock market and GameStop.
Oh, yeah.
It's been in The Penguin as a supporting role. It's been in And Just Like That as a supporting role. And correct me if I'm wrong, but and Just Like That is a spin-off of Sex and the City, like the TV spin-off.
Oh,
I think.
unfortunately, I've seen it and will not share my views on that show. It's not
well,
good.
well, then you
Those
may have
views
seen
aren't
some of her
good,
work.
folks.
And also in All Too Well, which is a short film directed by Taylor Swift.
Ah.
So there you are. Yeah, she's been in some stuff that is more recognizable than some of the other people on this list. And I think the interesting thing for her is, as you say, the potential, Dan, of her Greek heritage playing into how this might relate to GTA 6.
So, in real life, I guess like Florida, there's an area called Tarpon Springs, downtown Tarpon Springs specifically, which is in the Tampa Bay area. This has got a really big Greek community where something like, on average, 10.4% of residents say they have Greek ancestry, which might be similar to those parts of New York where everyone pretends to be Italian or Irish. But the ancestry is real. There's a link, and a very quick Google image search reveals lots of white and blue fronted cafes with something Santorini, or it's almost like a parody of Greekness, but it's very much a Greek community. As James was saying, that's double interesting because Tampa, based on what we've seen or know of what the GTA 6 map might do, is quite far north, and actually would suggest a considerably longer, bigger world than perhaps we're expecting.
Yeah, well, I guess than what we've seen, like our anticipation is that this is going to sort of be the map might be the panhandle of all of Florida up to a point. But what we've seen so far, from the images that we've seen in the trailer and taking some of the information from the leaks from 2022, is we've not seen anything from that far north officially. So if there is going to be some kind of, Greek contingent in that area, it would suggest that the area of Tampa Bay is also going to be in the game somehow, which is, you only have to go a little bit further up to get to Orlando. And that also includes all of the stuff that we've talked about in terms of, are we going to see a theme park? Is Disneyland going to be in there? It's all in that kind of area, which we think is happening, but it's a good indication that maybe this is like an extra bit of info saying, well, if all of these things marry up, to be fair, she does have a Greek background. It doesn't mean that she's going to play a Greek character.
Of course not. Of course not. It just would be an interesting. There is a real world link there. Rockstar do have some form, certainly with the lead actors. The lead actors feel quite similar to the actual people who play them. I don't know how true that extends to supporting cast, but if she was to appear as a version of herself, the Greek background would make sense. You know, and I'd probably get into a world of throwing around crass stereotypes and get myself in trouble. But like, she's of an age where she could play like a parent or something, but equally a young parent. So it's a bit hard to say what she would be within the context of GTA. I would just be embarrassing myself even further to speculate, I feel.
And finally, we've got Sydney Bell, who is listing an undisclosed major game by Rockstar Games and also playing an NPC character. Now, that undisclosed major game, I'm going to assume, is GTA 6. But, you know, it could be a different project, but it's most likely going to be GTA 6.
Yeah.
Sydney's born in Memphis, Tennessee. She's recently moved to Los Angeles after many years of training, including 4 years at the Catherine Sullivan's Acting for Film studio in Dallas. She started out in theater. Her experience includes Broadway, off-Broadway, and regional performances. Now she is continuing her training and auditioning out in California. She's got no like lead roles. She's done a lot of additional crew roles, like for Wicked, most recently, Charlie's Angels, Girl in the Spider's Web. So like reasonably high-profile productions. How involved of that she was, I'm not too sure. But the Wicked connection is interesting. It shows that she's, you know, got that Broadway experience. Is there going to be any kind of singing contingent in GTA 6? I mean, now we're really going out on a limb. But
GTA. Oh, imagine that. GTA 6 is a musical,
or features some kind of in-game musical somehow.
Well, that would be believable and funny.
So I'm not too sure. I think the, you know, NPC character could mean anything. It could be very much background, walking up and down the pavement, doing some stuff. Or in this context, it could mean literally non-playable character, but a character that you see quite a lot, but you just don't get to play as them. So one of the supporting characters that you visit for jobs, if that becomes a thing, or that you meet out in the world, that is a recurring thing. Like, it's hard to say right now, but I think, as we said with all of these, it'll be interesting to see, hopefully, as we move down the timeline and get more footage, to be able to see if we can marry up any of these people to what they might have been doing.
The language on their respective CVs is interesting. So for Sydney Bell, like under a video game section of her resume, it says undisclosed major game, NPC character, Rockstar Games. But then the work she did with Fortnite, it says Fortnite, very specifically Ariana Grande concert. She was Ariana Grande's body double / mocap / epic. Where with the previous connection we were talking about, the Greek actor, she was talking about being principal, and she used the word principal again for a role she played in the Mariah Carey Christmas concert in Roblox, which I didn't watch, I will add.
No,
So
I missed that one
if
too.
you do remember someone who wasn't Mariah Carey stealing the show in that Roblox Christmas concert, let us know. Maybe it was her. So yeah, we'll wait and see with a lot of these characters. It's hard to know how significant they will be. None of them feel like, obviously, the leads.
No.
But perhaps they will have, you know, they'll be more significant than I drove past them once.
Yeah. Or like they were, you know, the employee in the Waffle House.
Yeah.
I think they get, you know, it suggests to put that kind of thing on your CV that maybe they have a line or two somewhere within the game. But that's just me speculating. Like, who knows? We will see.
Maybe we'll get a line as there'll be a parody of GTA obsessed podcast nerds.
Yeah.
So, but that might be bad for us because we'd probably be portrayed like complete losers.
Or a horse farm.
Yeah.
Called JJ and DD's.
Yeah. And then we're just some crazy old cranks doing a podcast about a video game we're looking forward to. So, but even that would be a degree of fame, and I would put it on my CV as lead NPC. So
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, probably. So it might be the best thing I've ever done. So if you were to do that, Rockstar, and you're quite gentle with both of us, that's fine.
Yeah, we should note we have done no voice work for that,
Yeah.
so they won't be speaking
It's not
parts.
us hinting it's happening. It isn't.
No, it's definitely not. Maybe just some graffiti would be nice.
Yeah,
You know,
that would be great.
just something that says "o'clock" somewhere.
Yeah.
We'd know. Everyone would
It's
know.
always 6 o'clock somewhere.
If you know, you know. If you don't, you just be like, well, that's random.
It's just some stupid nonsense.
That'd be lovely. The
Thank
world's
you.
big enough.
Yeah. At
Pop
least
it
give
in.
us some graffiti, Rockstar.
If any of the environment artists are listening to this,
Yeah.
just sneak something in.
Please.
We'll be all right. We won't tell anyone. But then also tell us where we can find it. Otherwise, we might never actually
won't
find
miss
it.
it. And it is going to be a difficult line on my CV when I say it once appeared in some graffiti.
Yeah, that's not going to help with your future
at the
career
intersection of
prospects.
Hudson and Tampa or whatever it is. So yeah. Anyway, we digress.
Yes, we do. If you have any more things you would like us to talk about related to any of the topics today, you can send us an email at gtavio'clock@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, gtavoclock, or you can just comment below. And if you're commenting below, why not hit subscribe? Thank you all for listening. This has been a very exciting episode of the show. Hopefully they'll get more and more exciting as we move through the year. Mark your diaries for within about the next 4 weeks and we'll see what happens. In the meantime, thank you all for listening and we'll be back next week for another episode of GTA 6 o'clock.